Hey, what's going on? Guys, is Ronda Rousey on steroids? I'm going to give you my thoughts and just break down the reality of mixed martial arts and just sports in general. Anabolics are used in sports like crazy, especially mixed martial arts, because it's not such a popular sport to where people are really going to be tested. I mean, the UFC has testing, other organizations have testing, but when fighters are coming up, I mean, say you go in MMA and you're going to go to an amateur bout and somehow a fight gets put on. I mean, there's no drug testing. You just show up. And there was especially no drug testing years ago. In fact, in Pride, steroids were fine. They didn't have any problem with anybody taking steroids. You had guys like Mark Coleman and just jacked on steroids. Wanderlei Silva just blatantly jacked on steroids. Were other guys on steroids? Yeah, that maybe weren't as obvious, but they were still taking some form of anabolics. Especially back then when mixed martial arts was such an aggressive sport. And what I mean is, I think, in a way, the guys were not as skilled back then. They were, and that's kind of what separated Fedor from everybody else, is that Fedor had skills in all areas. He had heavy hands. He could, wrestle. He could, he had ground game. He had submissions. He kind of had it all. He's one of the first guys to really have that. Did Fedor take anabolics? I mean, it's possible. I mean, he used to throw big guys around, and he did seem to have almost like superhuman strength. But again, if Fedor did, he was never jacked, like just jacked on roids. It wasn't as blatantly obvious, and also it was legal, so he wasn't doing anything that his opponents weren't doing. So is Ronda Rousey on steroids? Now this is a big one. Now, when she first came in, she was mostly just armbarring girls. But let me break it down for you like this, man. Like, if you took, say Rousy Paul Harris, and you said for $10 million you're going to go in the ring and you're going to fight a female opponent and you're going to armbar the female opponent within 60 seconds for $10 million, Rousy Paul Harris. All he has to do is get a hold of that girl's arm, and for $10 million, he will have that girl in an armbar within 60 seconds. Now, the reason I say that is to just put the brute strength of testosterone, a man versus a woman, just to highlight the difference in strength between testosterone and a high level of testosterone and a low level of testosterone. Testosterone is male hormone. It is turning you into a man. It's male hormone. If you're a man and you're taking high levels of testosterone, you are more manly. You're stronger. You're more powerful, more aggressive, more muscular. Plain and simple. And same thing with the woman. A woman is on testosterone. She is more going in the direction of being a man, which is really a completely, I mean, women don't fight men for, other than that's just completely wrong and immoral, just because it's a completely different, it's not fair. It's just completely not fair. So if a woman takes steroids, say Chris Cyborg, and this is what how drug testing is effective in mixed martial arts. It does weed out the people who are blatantly jacked on roids, like Chris Cyborg. I mean, in my opinion, a lot of the fights that took place with her, watching her beat up on Shayna Baszler, and even the Gina Carano, Gina Carano. Now, do these other girls on some form of anabolics, mild steroids? My personal opinion, I think yes, they are. And that goes for pretty much any top level female fighter. And you could say what you want. I'm sure there are a few that aren't. I have known some girls, just being around the gym and being a personal trainer, who were very muscular just for really no reason. I mean, one girl, she had pictures when she was 10 years old, and she had been like biceps, like, you could see a hard bicep, 10 years old, just a little girl. So, so it is possible, but what the drug testing does do is weed out a girl who's basically has the strength of a man. Like somebody like Chris Cyborg when she was fighting, Shayna Baszler in that fight. I mean, it looked like a man versus a woman. I mean, it's a complete mismatch. Now, Ronda Rousey, she was just armbarring girls. But to just go in, grab a girl's arm, and just put them into a strangle armbar, that the positioning doesn't matter, the skill doesn't matter, it's just brute force. It's like Rusamal Parharas just grabbing a woman's arm and putting her into an armbar. And guys, that's kind of what the Ronda Rousey's arm bars look like. It just looks like a man just grabbing a girl's arm. The skill doesn't matter. It's just the brute strength. Obviously, you have to know how to perform an arm bar, but she does. And so my personal opinion, especially now, even with, we're seeing when the knockout of, when she knocked out Benche Correa, I mean, it looks kind of like a man punching a woman. I mean, it really does. And so I believe that Ronda Rousey is in fact on anabolics, and that she does have testosterone in her. And at first it maybe wasn't so obvious, and then of course with I was in the Olympics, guys, that doesn't mean anything. How many Olympic fighters, not fighters, but Olympic gold medalists and have been busted for steroids? They went years, all that time without, Lance Armstrong, Michael Johnson, it's just, the list goes on and on. Miriam Jones, was it Miriam, I can't remember. But, so if the drug testing is so stringent in the Olympics, then why are all these athletes, these medalists, able to compete and get around the drug test? So, but that is the reality of what's going on here, and it's a little bit kind of sad, but at the same time, don't feel too sorry for the girls, because somebody like Kat Zingano, to me, if you look at Kat Zingano, anabolics are somewhat obvious just in her facial features. So, so I really don't think it's that, as long as it's not completely just one-sided, the drug testing is working and is effective. And the drug testing is supposed to be more stringent now, but I don't know, man. You don't really see these girls getting busted at all. And anyway, guys, that's just my thoughts on that, and that is the reality of mixed martial arts. And how are these athletes able to get around drug testing? I mean, I don't know. I mean, another one, George St. Pierre, he retired, right when it was just stringent drug testing, and we've seen this stringent drug testing, different fighters just kind of just all of a sudden just not perform the same. Maybe they went off the anabolics that they were on, and so it's good that there is more stringent drug testing. But do I think that Ronda Rousey is on anabolics? And based on her performances, the way that the fights go, it really doesn't seem like there's so much a skill advantage, or it just seems like an all-out aggressiveness, brute force advantage. I mean, even down to her personality, very aggressive and just kind of a manly personality. So I do believe that Ronda Rousey is on male hormone, and I'll see you guys later.